I am in Colorado City, the FLDS Mormon capital of the world. While cycling through here, I stumbled upon Brian and Sherrie, and I want to share a bit of their story. They outreach to the community, do social programs, and missions work. They are the Mackerts. Brian Mackert was born into a polygamy family that goes back 7 generations. After leaving the cult for 23 years, he decided to go back to the community to help others being born into the FLDS. This is his story.
Colorado City is on the border of Utah and Arizona. It is the largest polygamous Mormon community on the face of the earth. Between the communities of Apple Valley and cane beds, there are about 10,000 people that live within that area. Today, we've got about 70% who still practice polygamy. I was born and raised a fundamentalist polygamous Mormon. My father had 4 wives and 31 children. I was his 28th child. By the time I was born, I had over 120 cousins. Mormons believe that God lived once as a man on a planet much like ours, and through the keeping of the laws and ordinances of the Mormon faith, progressed to godhood, and that we can do the same. Salvation by grace after you've done all that you can do. I have to do everything that I can do to have that right relationship with God, and then essentially God picks up the rest of the tab. There are over 4,800 laws and ordinances of the Mormon gospel that you have to keep in order to progress to godhood. Mormons believe that they can become gods one day, that they will, through marriage to multiple goddess wives, populate worlds of their own that they will create, and they will become the gods over those worlds, just as they believe that God became a god over this world. As man is, God once was. As God is, man may become. You have to keep all 4,800 laws and ordinances of the Mormon gospel that I mentioned earlier. You have to be baptized by someone who's in authority. You have to go through your temple endowment ceremonies. You have to be married for time and all eternity, sealed in an eternal or celestial marriage in the temple in order to progress to godhood. I saw how the religious leaders abused their authority. I began to view religion as being opium for the masses and a way of manipulation and control. I don't know what other term to use, but brainwashing or programming. I mean, the Bible makes it very clear there's only one God. God himself told Isaiah, there were no gods formed before him, and there'd be none formed after him either, in Isaiah 43:10. When I was first confronted with the Mormon belief that they can become gods and how that contradicts what God has told us in the Bible, I was shocked, and I had this crisis of faith. Who is the most authoritative here? Is it Joseph Smith, or is it what we see God saying in his own words in the Bible? In my opinion, Mormonism presents a false version of God, a false version of Christ, a false version of the gospel. I joined the military to get the heck away from this place. Why would I come back? I was gone for 23 years, and the 23 years that I was gone from this place was so peaceful. Why would I want to come back? Because God told me to. And when he did, I said, oh, heck no. You're not sending me back to them. You want me to go back to the people who abused me all those years? You're asking too much.
Brian started questioning his beliefs, went away from the cult for 23 years, and became an ordained Christian minister. When he moved back to Colorado City, he met his wife Sherrie, who has 2 masters, one in performance psychology and one in social work. She's worked with victims of trauma and abuse for several years. She decided that she also wanted to help the community, since her husband Brian is not the only victim of polygamy Mormon. Sherrie houses people that has left the FLDS, runs the local supermarket, and together with Brian, they started up a food bank 3 years ago.
Back when we first started trying to open the food bank, we weren't really sure where we were going to get this food from. We just knew that we needed to open a food bank in town because the need was just tremendous.
3 years ago, we approached the state of Arizona and we got the food commodity program returned to the community to help out because there was a 75% unemployment and a 90% poverty rate here. In 5 months, the ministry completely exploded. We got to where we were feeding 6,500 people a month. We were feeding over 1,100 families. We were moving 50,000 pounds of food through our warehouse in a month. Meeting people's basic needs is an essential part of rebuilding such a depressed economy.
Just because that the people here are part of a cult and a culture, they're very proud people. And to have to accept that I need food from a food bank can be very difficult on a family, and particularly people our age that should be able to manage their household and provide for their own, and they just can't. And so being able to come here, we make it warm and welcoming and have a good time, and we have treats and something to drink, and we try to just make it like this is a normal part of our community here. Everybody comes to the food bank. Why aren't you going?
The attitudes here have changed drastically since we first got here. Our goal is to show them the love of God. Jesus said you would know his true disciples by their love, not by their doctrine, not by their Bible knowledge, but by their love.
There's struggles, but people are learning what it's like to be out from under the oppression, out from under the culture that they were raised in, and learning that the people in what they call the outside world or outsiders are not the demon-possessed people that they've been told all of their lives. People that are in the culture and people out of the culture are now starting to talk to each other, and families are being joined together again.
And you don't just go from overnight from tyranny to freedom. There's a learning process. You have to learn how to be free.
I'm very optimistic in the change in the culture here. So.
Hey, come on. I've posted some links in the description. I've posted some info in the description for you guys to do your own research and further reading on the FLDS, the Mormon Church, and Brian. He wrote a book as well. You find the link in the description. Thank you guys for watching. Now you know a little bit more about Mormons, Colorado City, and what the Mackerts do. If you haven't already, subscribe, because I'm going to do more of these videos. I share the world while cycling around it. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Skidoo!